What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and are you ready to get into those lunar shenanigans? This is an interesting week. I think overall, no kind of real hard aspects that we got going on, at least that are just that day. So we got some neutral days, we got some green days. So we love that. I like when the moon is just like for the most part pretty steady. But we'll get into all that here in a moment. We're going to get into a new moon here soon. But if you're new here, again, my name is Justin, and one of the things I do here is talk about the lunar shenanigans, and it just covers the astrology of the moon and what sign it's in, what phase it's in, when it happens to go void of course, and just to kind of get the general feel of the energies here. And I'm going to be covering the week of August 19th through the 25th, and let's get into it. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a blast with this one, and if you're listening to this one, you should go watch it because I love this. But let's go ahead and get into this thing here. Also, this is all right start, because on a Mars Day, the 19th of August, the moon, we're still chilling the moon in Cancer. We're in that waning crescent phase, getting closer to the new moon there. And the first aspect that the moon is going to be forming is a square with Mars. So when we're getting into the squares, there's this challenges that may come up. There's maybe noticing some areas where the energies have gotten stagnant, and there's a need for change, a need for action to be taken here. And so there could be a little bit of frustrations here. The moon's overcoming Mars, and it's in its domicile here, so it's chilling at home. It's got its resources there. It's hopefully feeling in the flow there. But the mental energies, with that Mars being in Libra, may be challenging. And this is we got these cardinal energies that are going on here. So if you are noticing any sort of like internal struggles or things, I'd be mindful about being reactive. Just getting eyes on that. Just, and maybe even as you get a chance to kind of sit with that. Make some space for that. Allow yourself to grow in that, because then that moon gets to form in a conjunction with Big Papa, and this is going to happen at about 15 degrees in 36 minutes. Ooh, right by my sun place. I love that. But this is feeling good. This is a chance to, look at any sort of challenges that you're coming through, and it's like, what, yeah, this might suck, this may be some work, whatever this thing is that you may be going through, whatever the degree that it is, but it is something that is going to lead to that sense of expansion, that lead to growth. And Jupiter too can also bring this sense of alliances, and the help of great people. So this could be something where if you need someone, kind of ask for help. The benefics are there to lend that support and things like that. So that's just something to consider, because then look, then things get green. And then we moved into that Mercury day. We have on the 20th of August, the moon is first going to form a conjunction with Venus. So there's going to be that little pocket there where, as after the moon forms a conjunction with Jupiter, that is going to be enclosed by the benefic. So it's just sitting in this little pocket of loveliness here. And as the moon gets ready to shift into this energy, I would say with Venus, this would be a time to, if you have been maybe going through a lot, if this has been a rough couple of whatevers, however long this has been, to take some time and just kind of, just nurture yourself there. Do some nice things, some Venusian things. Go listen to some, find a nice space and listen to some music. Maybe just get outside. Maybe you can meet up with some friends, or just take a moment to just kind of breathe, to just kind of get centered, to sink in with nature. I think Venus is very great at that, of just appreciating the beauty that is around us, and how giving this can be, and then being receptive to that in Cancer. And then as the moon moves into Leo here, as you see, the moon will move into Leo at about 4:17 p.m., and that's going to be Pacific time. And here's the moon chilling in, just entering into Leo here. And then shortly thereafter, it's going to form a trine with Saturn. And now the nice thing about this aspect is that even though it's a malefic with Saturn, the trines are very beneficial. So you're still feeling the weight of Saturn, because Saturn is overcoming the moon in this. But it could be one where it's just like, again, almost similar with that kind of martial energy, having that fusion of Jupiter. This could be where it's like, okay, there's this burden, there's this responsibility, there's this weight that, maybe procrastination, whatever that you've been feeling. But it's like, what, the moon is like, okay, I can move through this thing. I can start to feel again a little bit more steady in this, being able to handle the weight of this stuff here. Because then we get into Jupiter day, and that's going to be the 21st of August. Moon's now kind of settled into Leo, and the first aspect or the next aspect that is going to form is a sextile with Mars. And so again, now we got these kind of positive aspects that are building up here. The sextile is a softer aspect. It's one that requires initiative but can lead to the sense of kind of creative problem solving, or just opening some doors for some kind of opportunities here. And this could be where, we get that martial energy in Libra, where we're thinking about a decision or what kind of action that we're getting ready to take. And then when the moon gets to that conjunction with Mercury, it's like, okay, here's the idea. Like, now let's just let it kind of marinate in and just kind of move with that energy. Let that be. Because the nice thing I think about Leo is it's consistent. When it sets its mind to something, it'll keep putting that energy behind it. So, and again, just kind of pay attention to, we're in that waning crescent phase. Again, this is a great time for, any sort of things maybe that you've been struggling to let go. This martial, or even just like how this energy has been kind of supporting, can be a great one for releasing any sort of like clutter, any sort of baggage or anything. This would be a great time for kind of clearing the space out so that you can welcome in some fresh energy as we can get into the mix. Because one thing I really kind of like about this kind of transit with the moon going through Leo too is that the sun is wrapping up its time at home in Leo. This has been an interesting Leo season with Mercury going retrograde here, and just all the stuff that's been going on, that opposition that just happened, the conjunction at the same time. It's been a pretty action-packed time for the sun to be here. But now it's like the moon is, it's kind of walking through, just kind of feeling through this thing, and like it's going to be walking the sun out, kind of seeing the sun out of its home here. Because then as we move into Venus Day, which is the 22nd of August, then we have the moon going to be moving into Virgo. It's going to be pretty late. It's going to happen at about 10:24 p.m. And again, that's Pacific time. And the new moon is going to happen at about 11:07 p.m. And it's going to happen at 0 degrees and 23 minutes of Virgo. And so now we're getting ready to start a new lunar cycle. And now for these next couple of weeks here too, the energy is really supporting the growth, when we're getting into the waxing phases of the moon. And what I like about this thing too is that, again, we're looking over what happened in Leo, and now we're taking the bits of wisdom from that one, and now we're going to put that energy to work in Virgo. We're going to put that, not just let it be just things that we just went through, but something that we grew through, something that we can show how and not just that we've been through, but show how we've been through it. Show how we're taking these lessons and not just letting it be something we know, but turning it into to new wisdom in things, just operating differently. Because I really like Virgo when it comes to just getting stuff done, and that's the energy that we're kind of feeling through for Saturday. Nothing's happened on Saturday. This is the time to really just kind of sink in, really. And I think that this is too, allow yourself to just kind of dip into your body when you get a chance. Just feel where you're trying to grow in. Look to see too. And I should probably go back up. I won't go back on the slides here too. But just know that when the moon was in Leo and the moon was wrapping up in Cancer there, if you have a lot of cardinal places, this may be in kind of a more active time when it's in Leo. If you have fixed placements, and with the cardinals, that's Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries. And with the fixed signs, it's Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus that the moon might be feeling with this one. And now that the moon's in Pisces, now we're just going to go through the zodiac. It's going to be that's going to talk about Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. But allow yourself to feel where this thing is growing, where you're trying to be, where you're wanting to, and look to see where you have Virgo in your chart, what is trying to, maybe there's something new that's seeding into this one, in this chart, for example, if you have like Gemini rising, maybe there's something you want to tackle in the home space that's wanting to happen there. Maybe there's something dealing with parents, or something in your private life that you're wanting to change. However you want to work with that new moon there. But yeah, I like when the moon's in Virgo. Really, very, very much a kind of a get done type of vibe. And look at that, we get stuff done and things turn green. We get into Sunday, and then it's the 24th of August, and now got the moon forming a sextile with Big Pop, and you just take that through the day. You just enjoy that. Because this is one where we have to take that initiative. That sextile is going to happen reach its peak at about 16 degrees and 29 minutes of Virgo, and Jupiter's in Cancer respectively. But this is again an opportunity for expansion. If not anything else, an opportunity to just feel abundant, to feel that even with all the stuff that is going on there, that there's just like how in astrology we got the malefics, Saturn and Mars that are, maybe, stirring up a little bit of trouble there, but we also got Venus and Jupiter here, cleaning things up, spreading the goodness, bringing the unions there. But every piece of it is a necessary part of this thing. And I think that it's sometimes when you get too inundated in one, we got to make sure to balance that thing out there. So especially if maybe there's been a bit of, maybe you've been feeling a bit pessimistic or whatever that might be looking like. This could be an opportunity to just, to have some hope, have some hope for a brighter future. And what actions would you be taking in that future? What are you going to be creating? What are you going to be working on? You're coming from this place of enthusiasm for something brighter, so I think that could be a really kind of nice energy there. But then lastly, we get into a moon day. And this is I think is appropriate here because first we get to the moon sextiling Venus there. Venus is wrapping up its time in Cancer here, getting ready to move into Leo. But there's, again, with the sextiles, you need to initiate this thing. There are opportunities. But after this sextile, the moon moves into Libra at about 7:08 a.m. Pacific time, and then it's going to form an opposition with Saturn, who's getting ready to wrap up its time in Aries for a little bit. But and I understand this that sometimes I have Jupiter on the ascendant side, and I can be a little overly optimistic sometimes. But I think that with the energies and things that there's an opportunity for us to all kind of come together there. And with that opposition, I understand that's not going to resonate with everybody. And, that's something that I think when it comes to your situation, it's, something similar. There may be a thing that you're wanting to do there that you're wanting with Venus. We're wanting other people to be a part of this thing, to want to see maybe the future, the thing that we're the future that we see maybe in the coming into view there. But it's something I think with Saturn, it is kind of reminding, I'm going to go ahead and switch back over here, is reminding that, there are going to be those kind of opposing views there. And it's not about forcing people to think one way or the other. Just like we're going through this journey, how we're going through it, and we'll go through this together, or maybe we won't, but it is something where we can at least try to do this thing. I feel like this is kind of again one of those kind of mixed energies there, but because I think that moon opposition Saturn's coming in, that's a pretty heavy aspect considered to the lighter aspect of the sextile there. But I do think that this can be one where, and maybe even too, there may be even a feeling of just really feeling that divide maybe. Oppositions are where it's kind of this tug of war, this one over the other. We have the feelings here on one side, and then the responsibilities, the discipline, the things on the other side. And which one takes precedent at that moment, and it does seem to just kind of teeter and totter, and it does get, bring up some complex feelings, and learning how to navigate those feelings individually and together, I think is something that's trying to form here, because it's been a very, again, just with how the aspects have been over the last couple weeks, it has been these little just kind of strange pockets there, trying to find the good in the madness. So it does ultimately, it's, I think once Saturn kind of moves out of Aries for a little bit, and Mars moves into Scorpio, hopefully as the energies just start moving, Mercury's retrograde now. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention with that new moon in Virgo. Now we're getting ready to start things with this new moon phase, and Mercury's direct. Now this can be where, it has been a lot. Let's process that and move that forward again, and there's going to be those opposing forces that are going to try to get us down, that try to get in the way. And it's showing that, just as you get bigger, well, then I'm gonna have to get bigger, and then that's just, and not let that be where it's something that it throws it out of whack. So yeah, very, very interesting energy that we're in, but I feel it's an opportunity for just kind of recalibration, for what's to come, because I think things are evolving, I think, quite rapidly, and it's an exciting time. It's an interesting time. I'm not gonna be. It's an interesting time. And I think that, but I do think that there are these pockets of things that are trying to light up too. So. But yeah, that's all I got there for you this week. But a lot to a lot to feel through with this moon there, and I'd love to hear, and and I should probably mention there too, down in the description box there are timestamps for this. So if you want to just follow the each day and see that, then now now that you've probably seen the whole thing, it's fine now. But if you want to go back there and see, just kind of check in on a day, it's just like, oh, that's why these energies may be a little meh, or oh, this is an opportunity to bring some goodness. Like, yeah, let's go ahead and get into there. That's tell me how that you've been kind of feeling through the week. It's a neat thing when you sync up with the moon and see how others respond to the moon as well. And also, one other last little thing there, I'm getting the format of this almost down pat. We're what into like the third lunar cycle. It's fine, but with that Libra moon cardinal placements again, that may be feeling those energies more potently, especially if you're in a moon year. And that's something too. If Cancer is like your sign of the year and your annual perfections, and the moon's your time lord, you want to watch that moon's busy. as you can see. So, but yeah, hopefully this has helped you to just kind of sync up with the energies. And if that's something that you want to look more personally into, want to see how the moon or how any of the other transits are affecting your chart, or if you want to plan any kind of elections that you're getting ready to come up, whether it's for a wedding, for a trip, for signing a contract, whatever this is, whatever thing that you're doing, down in the description box, there's a link to book a consultation with me. So definitely check that out. And if it's your birthday season, then you get a discount on there. So definitely email me if you have any questions about that, because my email's down there too. And just for any questions, my email's down there. So definitely feel free to reach out to me. And then there is a playlist. I'm pretty sure there's a playlist. I had to double check that. But there's a playlist. There should be a playlist for the Celestial News Weekly. And that just talks about where the sun and the other celestial bodies are at, the classical planets, what aspects are forming, what signs are going to be most affected, and how to most practically work with those energies. So that's available for you. And I do these series of videos that talk about different celestial bodies and different zodiac signs in different houses, and my thoughts on them, and how to maybe go about approaching them, and see how these may have shown up in your experience so far. So those are available for you in playlists as well. But that's all I got for you there. So until next time, stay mindful out there. And is that all I got for you? I think so. For what I got for you. And keep eyes on that moon. I got to get that in order too. And I will catch you on the next one. Yeah, Moon Day. I'm still getting back for freshly. I'm freshly out of retrograde too. So you know how it is.